And my guess is that I think all the ingredients are in place for some kind of a blow-off.
Bitcoin just did it again. We've officially smashed through a brand new all-time high, $125,000. Retail isn't even here yet. This is literally just the beginning of this rally, meaning this isn't just another pump. This is history in the making. ETF inflows are surging. Public companies just keep buying. Institutions are now aping all in. So strap in, because what comes next could make the last bull run, or any bull run before this, look like just a warm-up. Let's break down exactly what's happening today in crypto right now, and why the real story over the next few months, and the biggest breakout of the cycle, might actually be Ethereum. Smash the like button if you're interested in making money in crypto. Subscribe to Altcoin Daily for daily crypto videos just like this. Legendary billionaire investor Paul Tudor Jones, we've referenced him before. He's a huge Bitcoin bull. He says, get ready. This bull market is literally just getting started, and over the next several months will be the biggest, best gains yet. Listen for yourself.
If you just think about bull markets, right, the greatest price appreciation is always the 12 months preceding the top. So that's the nature of a bull market. It kind of doubles whatever the annual averages and before then. So if you don't play it, right, you're missing out on the juice. If you do play it, you have to have really happy feet, because there will be a really, really bad end to it. And my guess is that I think all the ingredients are in place for some kind of a blow-off. Will it happen? Again, history rhymes a lot, so I would think some version of it is going to happen again. Right. If anything now is so much more potentially explosive than 1999. 1999, we were looking at a rate hike in November. Now we're looking at a rate cut. We were looking at 4 more rate hikes before we actually topped in 2000. Now we're looking at 3 or 4 rate cuts, probably at least. So you have monetary policy that's going to take us to real rates of 0 or less, probably, depending upon the next Fed chair. And then the big difference is, obviously, fiscal policy. We had a budget surplus in 99, 2000. Now we've got a 6% budget deficit. So that combination, that fiscal monetary combination, is a brew that we haven't seen since, I guess, the post-war period, early 50s, something like that. And that was crazy times, right, coming out of the war.
So Bitcoin is projected to reach $150,000 minimum this cycle, probably closer to $200,000 before this cycle is over. The real story, however, that everybody seems to be missing is Ethereum. Sure, people are fairly familiar with Ethereum, but I don't think most people realize the intense bull thesis that has such a strong chance of playing out now that we're seeing what's happening in traditional finance. Ethereum is the next Wall Street. Wall Street is onboarding Ethereum like they've never onboarded crypto before. So much so, Ethereum seems to be a bigger deal to TradFi than Bitcoin is. Tom Lee explains why.
Ethereum to me is the new Wall Street. You know, in 1971, the dollar went off the gold standard. Okay. Now, everyone thought in 1971 the play was gold. But actually, in 1971, the dollar became synthetic. It no longer was backed by anything. And that's when Wall Street stepped in and said, okay, we got to make sure that the euro, or, well, the German franc or whatever, German mark or the French franc doesn't become dominant. So Wall Street built products to make sure everyone used a synthetic dollar. Wall Street was the big play in 1971. In 2025, we're making everything synthetic. We're starting with tokenizing the dollar, and then, as you know, Wall Street's going to tokenize equities and everything I just listed. Massive opportunity. Ethereum is in a super cycle because of that.
Of course, we all know that Tom Lee is bullish on Ethereum. Most people take what he says for granted because they just, oh, Tom Lee's bullish on Ethereum, of course. But he just does such a great job explaining the bull case. But I need you to understand, it's not just Tom Lee who believes that Ethereum is the next big thing. Axios is also reporting on this. They say Ethereum can be so much more.
He said Ethereum is basically a giant tech company, except it doesn't have a CEO office or a board. And in that way, it's quite different from Bitcoin. What do you mean by that?
Bitcoin came along to reinvent money, and that's what it is. And that's pretty much all it is, which, and I'm not minimizing it. That's a very big thing. But Ethereum can do a ton more. So people can come to this platform with all kinds of ideas. They can invent, new versions of money markets. They can invent new entertainment companies. And so all of these people are coming together and working out the best way to use this substrate. And so that makes it function a lot more like, some kind of combination of like Stripe and Yahoo and Twitter and all of those things all in one. It's a different value proposition out there on the internet than Bitcoin is. And I think investors are starting to wrap their head around how different it is and why it might make sense to allocate a little bit to it.
So you need to understand that Ethereum just broke out of a multi-year wedge. This is a bullish breakout and retest if I've ever seen one. So what comes next for Ethereum? The prices that we're about to see for Ethereum over the next few years, they will shock you how quickly this happens. Listen.
Some perspective, in 2017, Bitcoin was under 1,000, and we thought it would get to 25,000 by 2022, but could get to 100,000 a little bit later. Of course, 8 years later, Bitcoin's over 100,000. To us, an intermediate level for Ethereum is matching Bitcoin's network value. So I think a couple years from now, so that would be 60,000 ETH.
A lot of people are making money trading crypto right now. I have my HODL position, I have my trading position. You can make more money trading crypto and earn $100,000 extra in trading and sign-up bonuses. So, no KYC, try Bitunix today. It's just like when Uber and Lyft got started. They both were offering customers massive money incentives to use their platform. And the same thing is happening with exchanges, and this is the best exchange promotion I've ever seen, so take advantage of this before it's too late. I'm going to link these guys below. Of course, I always see the comments underneath my videos. Ethereum is nothing. Look at Cardano, look at HBAR, look at Solana, Bitcoin only, and I'm bullish on a lot of those projects. But one of the quickest ways to stay poor this cycle is writing Ethereum off, thinking that bullish Ethereum outlooks are dumb, maybe even retarded, as some have accused Tom Lee. I didn't say it. This was posed to him on a fireside chat at Token 2049. I love his response. These skeptical jabs do not change the bull thesis on Ethereum. You can say whatever you want about Tom Lee. It affects Ethereum zero. The best opportunities, historically speaking, are usually met with this type of intense skepticism. Nobody is doubting Bitcoin's bull case. So many are doubting Ethereum's. I love Tom Lee's response here. Listen.
Now with Ether, there was a post that went viral that I want to get your reaction from a friend of the show, Andrew Kong. So Andrew Kong, I don't know if people saw this tweet, but it was titled "Tom Lee's ETH thesis is retarded." He got about 1.5 million views. And basically his claim was that, look, it might be true that stablecoins are going to Ethereum, RWA is going to Ethereum, people, banks are going to use Ethereum, but they're not going to pay fees. Nobody's paying fees for any of this. This is all just a meme. And you should buy, robotics companies. I guess he's super big in robotics companies now. Do you have a counterpoint to what you saw coming out of the Andrew Kong camp, the doubters?
Well, as you know, in the crypto world, retarded is a good thing. So I took it as a compliment.
Okay, very good.
I'm ETH-tarding.
There you go. Good response. That's a very good response. Wow.
JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Santander, all the financial institutions are adopting Ethereum's tech now. Crypto people do not understand. They think TradFi is dead. TradFi might be stronger than ever if they continue to see what we see them doing, adopting Ethereum. Ethereum and crypto is a reason to be bullish on traditional finance. TradFi will inevitably send Ethereum's price sky high. Listen.
Investors have really been skeptical this entire rally. That's why we call it the most hated V-shaped rally.
All right, I'm going to get to your pick as well. Your pick for us today is financials. Now, is this on the idea that the Fed is dovish, rate cuts help, boost the yield curve, and that helps financials, or is there some other reason that you're saying that you would put money into financials right now ahead of earnings?
Well, I think financials have also fundamental tailwinds because we know the Fed is going to be dovish, which is helpful for economic activity. But on top of that, AI is a tool that the financials industry can leverage. It's going to help them root out fraud. It's going to help make their businesses more profitable. And it's something we've talked about at Fundstrat, which is the financials may end up getting technology valuations, especially given blockchain and moving from traditional financial rails onto blockchain and becoming more efficient.
All right. You're also a big believer in Ether. So you're saying financials companies, especially, you say, are building on Ether. Is that a tailwind somehow? The fact that they're building? Oh, sorry. Did I cut you off?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, Frank. Keep in mind, Exhibit A in all this is Tether. It's the largest stable coin issuer in the world. It's valued at $500 billion, or about 25 times earnings. It makes it the second largest bank in the world behind JP Morgan. And it shows you that by building on the blockchain, a business can really reduce cost and be a lot less employee intensive. Tether only has 300 employees compared to JP Morgan, which has 313,000 employees. So Tether is valued at around 1.8 billion per employee. JP Morgan around 2.6.
Okay.
So you can see the leverage coming from Ethereum.
So we are at the point in the cycle where Wall Street, institutions, corporations, regular retail people are all realizing how grossly underexposed to crypto they are. 95% of Bitcoin supply has been mined. 95% of investors don't own any. Ethereum is surging in both price and narrative. Ethereum has a lower market cap than Bitcoin, yet even less investors own Ethereum. Market Structure Bill Clarity Act is coming. Rate cuts are happening and will continue to happen. Further adoption of the whole crypto industry is happening. I expect to see Ethereum's price at $10,000 sooner rather than later, because the real bull target is in the 60Ks, in the 50Ks, the 70Ks. Guys, there has never been a better time to be in crypto. Tell me what you think in the comments. Subscribe to Altcoin Daily. Join our team. It's amazing to see the prices climb higher every week like we are seeing. See you tomorrow.